Started from the bottom, now we're here. That sentiment is going to make a lot of sense for those that I'm speaking to. Oh yeah. It's going to make sense in the coming days, weeks, months, and or years. The sacrifice has been great. But the reward, when I tell you, that song is going to resonate on some really deep intrinsic levels. I mean it. Started from the bottom, now we're here. You won't believe what the Lord has in store. The harvest that some of us are to behold is a product of the sacrifice that we committed ourselves to, the sacrifice that we did not avoid, run from, deny, and or sell ourselves out of. Many people do that. When they come to that precipice point of having to live a life of sacrifice, where the Lord tests them in similar ways that he tested Job, to see, does this person really have a heart for me? Or do they have idols that they're more committed to? Are they going to forget everything that I am to them for money, for that person, place, or thing, for the applause and praise of men, humans? Or are they willing to lose it all, look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, maybe even go through a season where they're looking a little humble, honey? People are wondering, asking questions, not really getting it. Are they willing to sacrifice? For those of you who said yes to the Lord, you're about to, let me tell you something. Started from the bottom, now we're here is going to be ringing through the atmosphere. Not only are you to progress into an entirely new era that is already here. I mean, we see it literally manifesting in our natural world reality. Your life is going to shift in a way that generations have not experienced. Generations in your bloodline, generations before you. You're going to be an example. As Job was tested in a similar way. He lost everything only to gain that and then some. And Job wasn't broke. So to have double of what he had before, he was loaded, okay? All right? Where the suffering and the trials and the tribulation of it all was but a memory, a distant memory to reflect on in order to testify. You know, we have to testify. Our assignment in this new place is testifying to the glory of God, letting him use us in this new place, at this new level, whatever it is for you. It's all for his glory. And just get excited. That rock bottom place, you were also required to sow. You were required to pour and devote yourself in complete dependency on the Lord. This is where most people fail. They put people, places, and things before God, assuming that that is where the source of everything comes from. As long as I have this person in the picture, I'll never fall. As long as I have this person in the picture, I'll never be broke. As long as I have this job, I'll never have to worry about struggling. No. As long as you have the Lord, it's as long as you have the Lord, can you devote yourself to him in that way? As long as I have the Lord and I observe his word, his laws, his statutes, like I respect him, heed his commands, just honor him, I don't have anything to worry about. We walked that walk and now we can talk the talk. Started from the bottom, now we're here. The now we're here part is the harvest, that was sown at the rock bottom. What you gave when you were perhaps in need, or at least felt that way. What you gave selflessly in intense spaces of the unknown, just not even knowing what tomorrow may look like. You were pouring into other people, giving them hope when maybe you felt hopeless. And this is not to encourage pouring from an empty cup, but those who know you, you know. If you know, you know. Right? You may have been in need in some way financially, yet you're sowing into other people. And not just, crumbs, pennies, and nickels. No, you're sowing. The Lord is to respond now. And He's going to respond richly. You're not going to recognize your life, and many people will not recognize who you are. So much is to change. It already has. Because again, at that bottom, that rock bottom place where your harvest is to now sprout from, is to now rush forward from, you were transformed. You also lost aspects of your character that weren't able to come with you. You lost the lack mentality, the poverty mindset. You lost the limiting beliefs. You lost the jealousy, the anger, the rage. You were delivered in that place. Deliverance. He used it all. Nothing goes to waste. Every tear you have sown is to now manifest as a beautiful, tremendous gift of His unfailing love in response to that tear. I lost a lot. I picture this, living downtown Chicago. I was in a relationship with a very wealthy boyfriend. I had a boyfriend who spoiled me, in other words. And I had a 6-figure income. I was buying this, buying that. Long story short, I had to come abroad, and I put a lot of that stuff in storage. It was so much I had to acquire 2 storage spaces after selling majority of my possessions. I'd say about 6 months ago, the storage space people, the manager of the storage space called me and said, well, we didn't get your payment this month, and you gotta, take care of this. And I was in this position where I either had to use the money I had for basic necessities and or hold on to the storage with the things that were not necessities. I had such a short period of time. I didn't really have time to call anyone. Most of my people were out of state who could just, use, I don't know, I could have donated the thing. Basically, long story short, I wasn't able to donate anything. I wasn't able to give it away. I had to give it up to the storage space. They likely auctioned off everything that was in those 2 storage spaces. And when I tell you, it was at least 80 to 100,000 USD worth of purses, shoes, clothes, furniture, instruments, amps, the whole setup. Like, I wasn't cheap. I'm not cheap. I've had to learn how to be frugal. Okay? I've had to walk the frugal walk. Frugal Fran. Okay? We've done it. I've had to pinch some things together in some moments. I've learned the value of $1, honey. But my former self certainly splurged. And that storage space, you got Louis Vuitton purses, again, Jimmy Choo shoes, all sorts of designer Chanel bags. Everything was pretty much designer, furniture, and then you had my music instruments, like all of my bass guitars, my microphones, my like really expensive stuff, sound cards, studio production equipment, all that. Gone overnight. Gone overnight. And I remember my Canada Goose coat too. I know I've been in Africa, but that Canada Goose coat. And the Lord began to reveal how all of that, and then some, is coming back, but it's coming back with interest. Like when he says in his word, the former glory won't be able to compare to the latter, it's like you're about to literally experience what that means in real time. So, although you may not understand what tomorrow's going to look like, stand on the fact that your devotion and your ability to endure is to now be rewarded. And your harvest is not going to be commensurate to what you lost, but much greater than you can imagine. Again, thinking Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. That's what I have. And I have some really exciting news regarding music. Speaking of, my instruments and all that stuff. My testimony is colossal, and I'm releasing my debut album and its documentary, which will speak to a great deal of it. So I encourage you to check out the links below. I would love your support on this project. It means so much. Please subscribe to my music channel. It's huge. It's so huge. Everything is changing, but I am to now testify, as are you. So join me in this walk, in this testimony, in this celebration. And I would love to invite you to the prayer group as well. I hope you all are standing on his word and doing so prayerfully and empowered in fellowship. Fellowship is huge. It's so important to find like minds who can minister, who can connect with you all on the levels that the world doesn't know how to or may not want to, and so on. All right, y'all, check out the links below. And if you're led to sow, listen, it's fertile ground. I love y'all so much. I'm praying over all of you. If you have any prayer requests, hit me up. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Get ready, because that's what it is. We're here. I love y'all so much. Bye.